Dave, last week, huge announcement for Canterra, an agreement with Limagrain. Talk a little bit about that deal.
Sean, thanks very much for the opportunity to meet with you today. Yes, Canterra and Limagrain have entered into a long-term agreement that provides access for Canterra seeds for the genetics that Limagrain is developing, particularly in the northern tier U.S. with a focus on hard red, hard winter wheat types, as well as options and opportunities with barley. This gives us exclusive access to these genetics for the Western Canadian market. So this is a very, very important step for both organizations, as it's really the launch of the Limagrain business into Western Canada. And of course, we can all respect and appreciate the size and scope of Limagrain as a cereals breeding entity, as a major player.
One of the largest in the world.
One of the largest in the world. So in cereals, they would be certainly at the very top, be first or second in size and scope. And if we look at it as a field crops business, they would rank in that 4 or 5. And then when you add in the vegetable seeds and so on and so forth, of which they're actively engaged in, they are a major when it comes to varietal development on a global scale. So we're very, very pleased that we've been able to come to this agreement.
Obviously, long term, this very much strengthens the cereal portfolio for Canterra. As the exclusive distributor of Limagrain genetics in Western Canada, what are some of the benefits that farmers are going to see from a deal like this?
I think having opportunity to have access to new genetics, to have access to possibly higher yielding products that are going to add or enhance their ability to extrapolate more dollars from that unit area of land. And really, when it gets down to it, that's really what's most important, is providing crop opportunities that will improve the overall economic scenario for the farmer. That's the most important part. So, more choices. The public breeding system has done an excellent job to date in providing the genetics that we're familiar with. And but we are beginning to see some changes within the industry and within the public breeding sector. And it's time, and there's opportunities for new participants, new genetics, new technologies, new tools to help further enhance the opportunities for wheat producers. And without the economics, certainly, we are at risk of possibly further declines in our wheat acres in Western Canada.
When you look at a global wheat breeder, it's not as simple as taking a variety out of France or a variety out of Brazil and just plucking it down in Western Canada and saying, perfect, it works. How do you integrate that sort of globalness?
Excellent question. I'll back up and explain for a second that one of the attractions that Canterra Seeds and Limagrain have together is Canterra Seeds has invested significant resources for a screening program that we have been managing for the last number of years, to be able to do the proper field evaluations for material that we've identified as potential opportunities for Western Canada, be it a wheat or an oat or a barley or a pulse, flax, etc. Those types of varieties. In Canada, we have a very stringent variety registration system. So that variety registration system takes into account agronomic details, it takes into account quality, and also, of course, we've got to be very careful when it comes to disease screening. So the field screening process is very, very important. If we look at a breeding program, though, let's look at it from that perspective rather than thinking about it from the sense of just taking finished varieties. I mean, the breeding programs that Limagrain has been working on have taken into consideration and have been taken into consideration those parameters that I just referred to a moment ago in breeding. So they've been working with Canadian breeding objectives for some time, and the material that we actually have in our test system this year have that sort of package already incorporated. So we're very excited about the progress of not just the agreement, but also the breeding that has already been started with Limagrain.
I guess Canterra and Limagrain have some similarities, though. Obviously, there's a size difference between the two companies, but Limagrain is owned by some French farmers, is it not?
We're very excited about those synergies, Sean. It's interesting that you would bring that up. The Limagrain, as everybody can well appreciate, is really farmer owned. And of course, Canterra's shareholder base is also farmer owned and retailer owned. So the synergies between our two organizations, such as being very like-minded, is an important attribute of any sort of relationship, that we are really coming from the point of view of sharing similar sorts of objectives.
Dave, congratulations on the deal, and we're looking forward to see some of the results.
Sean, thank you very much. I very much appreciate this opportunity.